Christmas came early for Cheryl Underwood.
Come on now.
Christmas is a time of celebration.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it is Christmas time.
Christmas
this
time?
rap battle, the game show that you received, Cheryl, is an honor. God continues to bless you. And every time I look around, another blessing keeps coming your way.
Blessing.
Amen. Congratulations, Cheryl Underwood.
Come on now.
Thank you, Harry Sutherland. And I just like the fact that I think the Lord is showing us favor, because it allows me to continue to produce the things that I'm producing. The jobs that I get, people say, well, don't you have enough? Yes, I have that I want to give. See, that's why I keep working so hard, not just for my family that I was born into, but our family. That's what we try to do.
National Bank Tower. This is KLEKLP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council.
Good morning, Jonesboro. This is meteorologist Tim Root with your KLEK 102.5 FM weather. On this Wednesday, we'll have partly to mostly sunny skies. That weather front heading out to the southeast of us at this time. And the high today, 80 to 85, north wind at 10, a little less humidity. Low 60s tonight, mostly clear skies and light winds. You'll be in the mid-80s, mostly sunny skies planned for Thursday and Friday. And it looks like a warm but sunny weekend coming up. Your life, your music, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Prince Andrew's being urged to come clean by a woman who claims she was forced to have sex with him at the age of 17. Puerto Rico is bracing as Tropical Storm Dorian's expected to strengthen into a hurricane as it approaches the Caribbean islands. The African Union's rejecting Sudan's call for the withdrawal of peacekeeping forces, saying it's too soon. And Bury have been expelled from the English Football League after a takeover bid collapsed.
It's 9:01.
Community Conversations is brought to you by Arkansas Early Learning, offering no-cost childcare in Jonesboro and Northeast Arkansas. Applications at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
KLEK 102.5 FM, good morning to you on your Wednesday. It is August 28th, 2019. This is Community Conversations. Kiddo Wonder is in the studio with you. I am joined by Quabila Jones, host of Community Conversations, and we have representatives from Team Jonesboro. We have Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. So for those fans of Chief Elliott, he's back. And we also have Brian Richardson also representing Team Jonesboro. And I believe we will have Reverend Dr. Charles Coleman joining us just a little bit later on in the show. So gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Good morning. Doing quite well.
Doing well. Good morning.
Right, so Brian, how's things been going? You guys have been canvassing the town. I know last night Scott was at Legends Barbecue Smokehouse for the meeting of the Democratic Party. I believe you had a representative at the Hispanic Center and one also at Sage Meadow. So just how's the campaign going?
It is going full bore. We have, over the last month, I believe we've had about 45 to 50 public presentations. That includes multiple town halls. And we have just been doing our best to get in front of the people of Jonesboro to tell them about the benefits of this plan and the way it can help grow our community.
And what's the feedback been during all these meetings?
Well, the common theme across the board is that the more people learn about the Team Jonesboro initiative and what it can do, the more they like it. It's exciting to people.
Absolutely. Chief, you want to add anything to that before I get to my
agree.
question?
It's an educational process. And as Brian said, the more they learn about it, they come and sit and listen, then we get buy-in. And that's a great thing. And that's why we're here today is it's education. So if anybody listening, you have any questions, we encourage you to call in or write in or text in, whatever you're Facebook in, whatever you're doing with the station here. But get involved, get yourself educated. And once you learn what this could potentially do for Jonesboro, it's exciting. It is something that's great, could be potentially great for our community. It can move our community forward and provide opportunities for all segments of our town. So I think it's exciting times for the city and what's going on, and we're just looking forward to this thing and passing and moving forward.
Now, Chief, I want to ask you this question. We're going to go ahead and get into the heart of the discussion. For the people who are opposed to this, the common thing that they say is, well, we like the part about the police and fire. We support the police, we support the fire, but we don't want all of this other stuff. And at some of the forums in which you have spoken at, you have said that, in your opinion, that quality of life is public safety, and that these projects are needed to make your job and your officer's job easier. So I just want you to kind of elaborate on that and explain why you feel that the public, the quality of life projects are just as necessary as the police and fire aspect.
Absolutely. Yes. I've always said that quality of life and public safety are hand in hand. So we look at the quality of life side of this, and that's the question people are talking about right now. So let's talk about that. So in the quality of life aspect of this, there are sidewalk developments, and as we know, on Patrick Street from Belt to Magnolia, there's not any sidewalks, and we're looking at over $2 million project right now for that kind of sidewalk development. Now there is a little bit of sidewalk work going on from Johnson to Belt, and there's going to be another stage fixing to go on, but it's going to stop about 1,000 feet from Belt. We need to run it all the way to Magnolia. We have two new apartment complexes up there. We have a new housing subdivision up there, and you got a 2-lane road, ditch on both sides, and people are having to walk day and night down this road, and it's just a matter of time before somebody gets hit. So when we talk about public safety, quality of life, that's hand in hand. I want the walkability improved for areas of our town. I want the walkability improved from the areas of our schools. We get calls, kids walking in the street from coming from school and this and that. Well, your neighborhood doesn't have sidewalks. Okay, we get that. So it's a problem that we face. The park systems, Allen Park, Parker Park, are huge to the communities that they serve. It gives a place for the kids in the afternoon to go gather and be involved in activity and hang out and do whatever. And it keeps kids from being out in the neighborhoods and just doing things on their own, which sometimes leads to criminal mischief or a criminal act, and subsequently they end up in dealing with law enforcement, and that's not a good thing. So any after-school programs or any facilities that kids can go to for recreation and entertainment, we've got to have. And the parks that we have, they are serving their purpose, but they have aged too. They need some upgrades, and we want to make those improvements. But right now, it's just not in the budget. We want to expand what we got, those services what we got, but also we need to add some of those services throughout the city too. The Northside Ballpark, beautiful park, big old parking lot. Right now, we need a redevelopment there. That would be a big service for North Jonesboro. Again, it's a funding issue. So the city has come in and taken down the fences for the ball fields just to create some green spaces so people can go out and enjoy that space to play soccer or whatever. But there's certainly a lot more we can do to rehabilitate that ballpark area for North Jonesboro. So again, it takes money. Of course, there's all kinds of other projects that are being talked about and proposed. And again, these are concepts that people have come up with that, that amenities that people have commented on that they'd like to see in the community. But what's important here, it's community. If there's something that you and the community need for your part of town, you're welcome to put your project together and go before the Oversight Integrity Council and pitch your project and for consideration. So,
Chief, I got a question from our live feed. It's as Steve Richardson says, Chief Elliott, you've mentioned a problem with the police radios. What exactly is wrong with them?
Yeah, our police radio system, it's like any electronics. It's they have a end of life, and we're at the point that Motorola, which is the vendor that we're using, they're not servicing our radios. They don't make parts for them anymore. They've outlived their usefulness, and so we need to upgrade. And time we do the tower site upgrades and then the mobiles and portables for police and fire, we're looking at close to $7 million project for this upgrade, and we're at the point that we need to start that immediately. And my concern is how we're going to fund this thing.
All right, Q, I want to just take over. Did you have anything that you want to ask?
Oh yeah, I wanted to jump in. She was talking about making the upgrades to different sides of town and different areas that are already in existence. And we all were here before. I wasn't here, but I asked a question about some of the funding being used to. Okay, I think I've heard in one presentation you said some of the funding can go to maybe pay for the field. Just like part of, because it's not free to use 100%. Like there's some other fees associated with it. So there are many other organizations or groups that would love to host events and host after school or whatever. However, they just don't have it in their budget to cover the cost. And so, and I know, individuals can submit a proposal to the OIC. So do you feel that for those that are kind of against on the fence, they're not quite sure how the Oversight Integrity Committee actually works, or how to actually submit a proposal? Because I personally have a whole list of ideas. However, I'm not the only person who lives on my side of town or whatever side of town.
Well, the concept of the OIC is to actually give people an opportunity to present an idea. Okay. Let's say right now that there is a lot in your neighborhood that you think would be a great park, would be a great pocket park. Where today, if you wanted to do that, would you even start?
Well, for me, it's not so much parks. For me, it's actually a space for people to host events. We have several mentoring groups, and they struggle to find spaces because everyone else is trying to get those spaces as well. Right. If we had a place with multiple, say, classrooms or meeting rooms that different groups can meet at the same time, and that there are a variety of services being offered, financial, home ec skills. I mean, just job readiness, whatever. So we'll call that, just for clarity purposes, let's call that a community center. A community center.
So if the process today to get a community center in your neighborhood or any neighborhood in Jonesboro is one that I'm just not familiar actually exists. You've almost just got to hope that somebody in city government decides to put one there. The creation of the Oversight Council allows for you or anybody to go in front of this board and present your ideas, and that allows for the community to have input on what their neighborhood needs. To me, that is the more personal way to grow our neighborhoods. It's not me or Dr. Coleman or Chief Elliott telling you what you need. It's you telling us what you need and what you want. So that process would allow for you to present to the Integrity Council, and they would then crunch the numbers and decide, which need this serves, who it serves, and the benefit to the community. So it creates a totally new process that allows for citizen input that we currently do not have available to the people of Jonesboro, and I think that's a great thing. We need to encourage more citizen involvement in local government, because ultimately, the more citizen input is way, the better the community citizens will get.
Well, then how do people, at this point, I know the issue has not been voted on yet, so we don't know which way it's going. However, how do people get in touch with the committee?
The chair of the Oversight Committee is Joe Hafner, and you could either make a request through him, or there is through the website, through the city website, there's actually a portal to where you can submit your application to present, I believe. Does that sound right, Dr. Coleman?
Yes, matter of fact, we're meeting tomorrow from 9 to 3, but this is not just for tomorrow. I think there's another issue. People think it's just a one-day Oversight Committee meeting, but we have several days that we're going to be using for people to come in and make their requests. I think one of the things that might be missing in this whole scenario, I've been on the council, well, I use the term just a little while, but in that little while, this year, probably, as long as I've been on council, the first year that we've had as many people coming and voicing their opinion. And so I think my question, with other people asking questions, why hadn't there been other people over these period of years coming to the council, making requests for these, I've been fighting for the north side. I don't really like the I statement, but the Lord has allowed me to be in a position to fight for the north side since I've been there, because I live on the north side. And you're talking about parks, a lot of people in the area that I live in can't even get to the parks. So there need to be monies to house other places within the area of where you live to have even more, maybe smaller parks, because we have little kids. I don't want to disharmony for Parker Park or Allen Park, but a lot of those parks are for kids in a what I call an age bracket. But when you get to real small kids, if I had real small kids today, I wouldn't want them in some of these parks because of the gang mentality that's infiltrating our city. And so that goes back to the police department and what I call the health wellness part of it. We need more officers to be able to sit in these places. I've even asked at one time that they actually set up different booths around the city where a lot of the problems that we have in the community without designating, one person or one place today. And so these things are things that we need. But I think what's more important to me, the second part is more important, is the people having input. So I guess my question, why would you fight input for something that's going to be able to make your city grow?
I think, and this is my personal perspective and what I've read, on the social media sites, that people were a little lost and confused on how to submit a proposal, right, how everything worked. And I'm happy that you all are being out and about in the community and speaking up about this. I'm sorry, even though there's still some opposition. So again, we at Kelly K can't tell you what to do, how to do. We're just here to provide the information. So I hope that people are gaining more clarity as you are speaking to more people.
Well, ultimately, that's what you want. Is you want voters to be informed. You want them to know exactly what what they're going to vote for, and you want to reduce any confusion amongst the electorate, because ultimately, when people vote and they understand the issue and they are not confused about the options out there, then the people have spoken. So that's what we're asking for, is a clear conversation, and for the voters to be able to go into that voting booth informed and with clarity.
I've got a question from our Facebook Live feed. Zachariah Carlson says, for the 0.5% going to fire and police, is that an even split between the two, or is it apportionment also decided by the OIC?
No, police and fire have their needs. It's not that we're going to argue with the fire department and police department. It's for public safety to meet our needs. And Chief Miller has his needs laid out. I have my needs laid out. If it takes a little bit more money on one side than the other, then so be it. We work together as a team, day in and day out. This is a team effort. It's not we got to split the pot and that's all you get. It's a team effort to meet the needs and goals that we have for both departments. So, there's not a clear division on there, no.
Well, this might have already been talked about before, but one of the things that's an issue that I don't hear many people talk about is that, let's say that this tax doesn't go forward, and we still need fire departments. If we don't keep a certain rating, and I don't think that's been emphasized enough in the community, if we don't keep a certain rating, your tax is going to go up anyway. Your property tax is going to go up. And I think a lot of people have kind of missed that vote, not understanding that regardless of what happens, I'm excited really by the negatives and the positive, because like I said, repeating myself, this is the first time I've been in a long time where the community is actually up in roar for it or against it, actually putting their inputs in. So I think that's a positive thing for Jonesboro.
And Dr. Coleman, since you mentioned about what would happen if the tax may not pass, I'm sure you all know that one of your fellow councilmen, Alderman Long, made a proposal that if the tax did not pass, he was going to propose an ordinance for a 1/4% tax to support police and fire. Do you all think that his proposal could potentially harm you all's efforts for those who may be on the fence?
Well, that's one thing I want to get something straight. I don't speak for the whole council. I speak for myself. There's 12 people on the council, and so for speaking for what Ms. Long has said, that's his opinion. But at the same time, I keep using this term unity. Why we're fighting each other? Because most time when you start doing inside fighting, then issues happen. So I read his article. Bobby Long is Bobby Long.
All right. Go ahead.
Just to add
Brian.
to that, I would say first off that it's not a proposal. Nothing's been proposed in front of the city council. I guess you would call it, at best, a idea or a maneuver. And I think that it does confuse the voters of Jonesboro. I think that it is a proposition that makes that not only kind of confuses the issue altogether. The timing of that is certainly suspect. It also takes away any chance of investment actually in the children of Jonesboro. It won't pay for a penny of breaking ground on a park or a playground.
The other thing that's disharmony is this distractions. I try to look at things from a holistic standpoint, not so much because I'm a minister. I just try to look at that way. And when you have distractions like that coming in the paper, you have elderly people, and I'm getting into that part of being elderly. That's confusing, especially when you have a lot.
You
of
look
people.
like you're still about 40.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. My wife says I act like I'm 30, so whatever. But that kind of bothers me a little bit because one of the greatest distractors that I know is even in our presidency. If something is going one way, there's a distraction another way. When you start distracting, guess what that does? That does disharmony to the whole entire community. So that's really an issue for me when people start doing that.
We're getting ready for a break, so I'll save my question when we come back from break.
All right, we're speaking with members of Team Jonesboro. If you have a question or a comment for either of these gentlemen, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Again, the phone number is 870-277-1080. Or you can leave your questions or your comments on our Facebook Live feed. Got a lot of people watching. If you are watching, please share this video. Join the discussion because guess what? September 3rd, first day of early voting. The election is September 10th. We can't tell you to vote for it or against it. Oh, I forgot to give a disclaimer. KLEK and Voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. We do not endorse nor support or oppose this issue. This is for educational purposes only. No compensation was provided for this interview, but get out and vote. It's the KLEK 102.5
You're
FM.
listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Do you believe you have much influence on your child's future career choice? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Many studies have shown that parents do have a big impact on what their kids decide to do for a living. Here are 3 ways to influence your child's career choice. First, be a student of your child. Watch your kids carefully and take mental notes on their natural skills, interests, and areas of giftedness. Second, validate your child's gifts. When you see those interests and gifts emerging, it's important to verbally affirm your child. Third, encourage and guide your child in the development of those gifts. For more on influencing your child's career choice, visit my blog at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
The Family Minute with Mark Merrill, helping families love well.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Family Minute is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a non-profit organization providing students with of assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Meineke of Jonesboro is now Starks Auto Service, a full-service auto repair and vehicle maintenance center offering engine and transmission repair, brake service, tires, oil changes, and more, performed by ASE certified mechanics. Starks Auto Service, 2813 South Caraway Road in Jonesboro, 870-204-7112. Starks Auto Service, Jonesboro.com.
House of Details, located at 3915 East Highland in Jonesboro, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, waxing, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more, with the motto of anything mean we can clean. Details at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and at klekfm.org. The Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was established on June 28, 1997 by 13 dynamic women who accepted the challenge of chartering the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter. Today, the chapter continues to impact the Jonesboro community by sponsoring programs such as the Sonia D. Williams Scholarship Breakfast, Community Back to School Bash, Delta Academy, Voter Registration Drive, and Autism Awareness. Our focus correlates with the national theme, Joy in Our Sisterhood, Power in Our Voice, and Service in Our Hearts. Our chapter supports Delta's 5-point programmatic thrust: economic development, educational development, international awareness and involvement, physical and mental health, and political awareness and involvement. More information about the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is available at www.jonesboroalumnidst.org or via email jonesboroalumni@live.com.
Hello, I'm Officer Victoria Evans. I have always had a desire to help others in need and to be an example and role model to young women by encouraging them to never give up on their dreams. My dream was to become a police officer and to serve my community. In 2016, that dream became a reality, and it is the most rewarding experience of my life. Now I want to let you know about the same opportunity. The Jonesboro Police Department will conduct testing every month for patrol officers. Applications are available online at jonesboropolice.com or at the Police Department, 1001 South Caraway Road. The Jonesboro Police Department offers a competitive salary, health, and retirement benefits, top-of-the-line training, and most importantly, the chance to make a difference in the Jonesboro community. Join me in making Jonesboro a better place. The Jonesboro Police Department is an equal opportunity employer, and women and minorities are especially encouraged to apply. More information is available at 870-935-5657.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with our guests, members of Team Jonesboro. We have Brian Richardson, Reverend Dr. Charles Coleman, and Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott. If you have a question or a comment for either of these gentlemen, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080, or you can leave your questions and your comments on our Facebook Live feed.
All right, so we're getting ready for break. I was going to ask a question. We kind of talked about it off air, so we'll just give a little snippet and I'll let the gentleman go into the discussion aspect of it. But basically, after voting, if this initiative doesn't pass, okay, I'm trying to say this nicely, but anyway, I don't want to say just scrap everything, start all over, but we know there are quite a few people that are opposed to, I guess, the organization of how Team Jonesboro is now. They have their reasons. Maybe either opening more spaces for people to come on from different sides of town. It's okay. We need to make this committee, whatever, more diverse, and not diverse in race, just diverse in representation of who lives here from the different sides of town and different socioeconomic groups. I understand it may be hard to get people to get involved. We've seen that in the past. So what we talked about on air, if you all could just off air elaborate more.
Well, the entire foundation of Team Jonesboro is to bring our community closer together. We have had right at 1,000 or over 1,000 people sign up to become a part of Team Jonesboro from in the community. Okay. And that begins, not only did that begin, that rocket started the community building that we need to do here in Jonesboro. cities, when they become divided and they don't talk, they don't grow. So that is the entire principle behind Team Jonesboro, is to create that type of community infrastructure that currently does not exist. So by making this process open to everybody to come on board, we feel like that we have done what we know best and to contribute to the conversation of how to make Jonesboro a better and safer and stronger community. And I think that one thing to definitely remember is that regardless of, the outcome on September 10th, we're gonna keep our fingers crossed that the voters agree with our vision of investing in our future and investing in children. This group will carry on, and if the tax passes, we can do great things here. We can build the type of community that people want to live in and that children want to grow up in.
I have a quick question. If the tax passes, how soon could we start to see some of these projects, both on the public safety and on the quality of life, start to come to fruition?
Well, the important thing to note about a September 10th election is this would allow for sales tax collections to actually begin on January 1st. So that would allow for, investments in public safety and quality of life to start almost immediately. I know that the city and Chief Elliott have probably already kind of began to put together a plan about how they can immediately use that money to make an impact. And I think immediately is important. If you pick up the newspaper or watch the news for just the past 2 weeks alone, we've got real problems here in Jonesboro.
So, Chief, basically what he's saying is if it passes on January 1st, you can order those radios.
Yes. Motorola has financing options. So, January 1, there's no tax money has been collected yet, but Motorola is willing to work with us and delay payment until
money comes
in the first quarter. So they've been a great company to work with to get this project done. Yes, this will be my number one project that we need to get started on, and they've been great to work with. And but we're in budget phasing right now with the city. We start planning for next year's budget now, and essentially I'm having to plan 2 budgets, and
And you're hoping for one.
Yeah, I'm hoping for one because, this year I needed 15 cars, but I got 5. And we're facing more budget cuts next year. And, the fleet needs to be replaced. I've got equipment upgrades, and I need more bodies. And, if
let's have a
basic
discussion.
budget doesn't expand, then neither does the police or fire.
And let's have a discussion about needing more bodies. Obviously, if you tune to the news or any news outlet, there definitely has been an uptick in shootings, and it has the community concerned. And I'm sure that if you had those bodies, it could, help with more of the proactive policing,
Correct.
which is the hallmark of your tenure, to have officers in these places to where maybe people will think twice before picking up a gun.
Absolutely. It's I've always preached that a police department needs to be proactive in what they do instead of reactive. And we're at the point now with the resources that we've got. We're being reactive. I did bring the street crimes unit back, and they've done some proactive work. And of course, we're doing community outreach to do some community building. But we need to do other things out in the community to fight crime. And right now, I just don't have the resources to do it. There are a lot of technology advances that we could do to help fight crime. Camera systems, these SkyCop cameras and things like that. We can do more, have more visual on targeted crime areas, and with technology. So, but again, that costs money. So, this is concerning. Again, last night we had, 2 more individuals shot in a drive-by shooting deal on Arch Street. So it is concerning, and I don't have a solution other than I need more bodies out there on patrol. When you have just a handful trying to patrol and run everything in 82 square mile city limits, we're spread thin. But when something does happen, then we have to pay people overtime to come out and work these cases up. And frankly, our detectives have exceeded what they could work on their caseload. It's just they're overwhelmed.
And to add to that, I think it's important to note that this is the only option, or the only plan that actually would provide an immediate investment in our police and fire. The only other option would be to move money from other parts of the city, i.e. cut services, to put in police and fire. I'm not so sure that anybody likes to hear the phrase, we're going to cut services. So this plan would allow for investment to be made in police and fire starting January 1st.
All right, Brian, there's something on the table right now that can give us results as soon as January. If this thing does not pass, we're another year or two out before anything could come to fruition that on getting relief. And frankly, I don't think we can wait another year or two for something else to come up and be approved, be voted on, and to actually go in place and then start collecting money on.
All right, Brian, I want to ask you this question. There has been some criticism about the amount of money that Team Jonesboro has raised. I think in your last financial report is maybe over $100,000, and there's some people like, well, if they're raising all this money, why are we being saddled with this election that the taxpayers are paying for? Well, one, what is your response to that? And two, who is actually paying for the election?
Well, my response to that would be that I think that the financial contributions to our campaign are a sign that this is something that the community wants, something that the business community sees as an asset in developing our city. They know that the positive impact that bringing more people to Jonesboro and keeping good people here and the financial economic activity that comes along with that is a win across the board. When it comes to the economy, you've got two choices. You can either have a high tax base or a high tax rate. So we're hopeful that this will make 1% bring in more net money for the city versus in 3 or 4 or 5 years having to raise the tax just to be able to meet basic needs, because we must continue to grow our economy. We have to make our tax dollars go farther. And that, I think that is an approach that people have agreed with. And I think that is why you're seeing contributions pour in to Team Jonesboro, because people know this is our chance. It might be, I don't want to use the word last chance, but it's certainly the most thought out and thorough plan to predict, or to produce a stronger community and a stronger local economy that we'll have for a long time.
And I also want to ask, kind of piggybacking off of that, because there have been some people who have asked, and I know Scott had mentioned this in his talk at Legends last night, what happens if when the tax sunsets and let's say it's not renewed and some of these projects, don't have the money to sustain? What happens? Do they go away, or what happens? So for those who may be wondering about that, could you explain that?
Well, again, it kind of comes back to the tax bait or tax rate question. What we are hopeful for is that after 12 years, that the amount of economic activity, new economic activity that this initiative will produce, that 8.5% or the 1% that the city actually receives at that time will be worth a lot more than $18 million that it currently brings in today. Yeah. And on top of that, the only thing that tax dollars are not the only thing that are going to bring in financial monies to these projects. You talk about things like a multi-sport complex or an aquatic center. Athletic tournament rentals that's a lot of money. The people that come to these tournaments number in the thousands. They're spending money here. They're renting hotel rooms here. They're eating here. That is new money coming to our economy. When you start bringing things to the table like naming rights and matching grants and also sponsorships, you're talking about figures into the millions. Just imagine the naming rights battle that will positively happen over at something like a children's museum. These are dollars that are directly reinvested into these projects. So, two things: one, ongoing maintenance will be figured in whenever the oversight committee proposes and considers these projects. And two, we feel that the economic development and growth brought on by investing in these types of things will generate the type of revenue stream that we need to sustain them as a city.
Got a Facebook shout out from comment from Tommy Baker, who says, "Greetings all from Memphis, Tennessee. Good seeing you fellas. Great information." And let's see, April Newsom says, 18 million, where's that at? I know it's not a lot of money when you're talking about funds spread out over an entire community, but where is it at?
Where?
I'll reread the question.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where it's at, it's in $18 million in investment annually. Where it's currently at is it's on your ballot on September 10th. Voting for this initiative will directly inject over $100 million into public safety.
We got another question. How about us poor people? And in the context of that, some of the people who are opposed to this, one of the things that they say is that this is a tax on poor people. What is you all's response to that?
Well, the average household income in Arkansas is about $40,000 a year. This tax, after you pay your income tax and after rent or a house payment, whatever that might be, car payment, which are not sales tax, it's going to cost the average household about anywhere from $90 to $110 a month. And I would say that
a year.
I'm sorry, a year, about $8 to $9 a month. I would say that the average family, if they take one or two trips out of town to go visit some of these amenities, are going to spend that. They're going to spend that in just one weekend. So, and I think it's also important to remember that by bringing these types of amenities here, there are thousands of children in Jonesboro who will never have the opportunity to leave the city limits to enjoy some of these things. I think that providing these types of recreational opportunities for children here creates an opportunity that they would not typically have, and I think that's important.
Look at the school field trips that are out there. Right now, our schools are loading up, going over to Memphis to the Pink Palace Museum. Their spring trips, they're loading up, going to water parks in Paragould or Little Rock, whatever. There's no reason to go out of town. These amenities would be right here in Jonesboro, and more kids could get involved, more schools could get involved. So this is about investing in kids for all sides of town. It's not a north side or south side deal. It's a team deal, and it gives everyone an opportunity to participate in these events. And that's what's great about it. You're not having to spend schools are not spending bus money, gas money to drive an hour or 2 hour. Because these kids want this kind of activity. It's here in your own town.
All right, I have another question from Letitia Fox Rochelle, who says, so this is create better recreational amenities and more jobs.
Absolutely. It's all hand in hand. So when you start a project, something like this, one, it provides something for the community, but what's going to build around this project? What other restaurants and motels, and so there's other growth that is looking to move forward along with this. And I think our growth in the city with our restaurants and other things will also grow. Therefore, it's creating more jobs, more opportunities for everybody in town to seek an employment.
Well, one point I want to add to this, and again, this is not me endorsing the tax or anything, but this is an observation. When NEA Baptist Hospital was put up, pretty much that side of town pretty much exploded. Everybody that owned land out there sold their land, and everything just started being built. So no matter how a project is financed, if it's something big, then things will pop up around it.
Well, I'm hoping that same thing happens to North Jonesboro on 141.
That's what I want to kind of circle back around to, because we didn't get to bring you in when we're talking about getting people involved in joining committees and things. We know that there are several committees, just for lack of a better word, organizations on different sides of town that represent the residents of that area. how would you all try to get more participation, like NJ&I, West End, Community Coalition, whatever else may be out there?
Well, the organization that I host and been hosting since 2012 is Fifth Street Community in Action. One of the things that I found in Jonesboro is that there's a lot of overdoing in certain items that we do. And the statement that we have a lot of coalitions, but how many people, it seems like it's the same people on the same coalitions. And that's bothers me because I think everybody needs to get involved, especially if you got children. And in these coalitions, I think that maybe one day that all these coalitions should come together as one. And when one is doing a certain item, then we need to join together. It's kind of like sometimes I tell preachers that really bothers me sometimes that they have anniversaries, and if they would get together as a coalition, they possibly would have a little bit more money coming in by not having the anniversaries on the same day. So it's the same thing with coalitions in this community. It's the same thing, it's like National Night Out is coming up. Instead of having National Night in 5 different areas.
Yeah, cause we get spread thin. They ask us to DJ all of them, and we can't do it.
Right.
What's that now?
They ask us to DJ at several of them, and we just can't be at all of them at one time.
And so what if all these coalitions got together and said we're going to have just a big National Night Out, and West Side, Fifth Street Community in Action, North Side Initiative all get together. But the problem with some of these items is the attitude. Until we change the attitude, and it's the same thing we're dealing with the tax in Jonesboro. Until we change one of my features, and I'm going to keep going back to the holistic part of it. You know, I pay tithes and I pay offering. You know, it's like running under Caesar, what is Caesar, running under God, what is God. And right now, we need some things. And once again, I don't want to keep just harping on this, but I've been fighting for Jonesboro since I've been here, especially the North Side since I lived there. And there's a lot of things that we need. Just like right now, we got one swimming pool in Jonesboro. I mean, that's absolutely insane, you know, to have one swimming pool, and we got almost close to 80,000 people here in the summertime. So why not have 5-6 swimming pools around the city? You know, where people can enjoy, or if we got certain amenities, why not have some the same? But if we don't do something about it now, I'm not sure it would ever be. I'm not sure that even from the city standpoint, you know, we're strapped behind. Because I didn't recognize this, and I'm not just like anybody else. Until you really get involved, you don't really know. And so after becoming city council, I had a whole lot more gripes, but right now I got 20,000 more gripes since I've been on city council. Because I think there's a lot of things that should have been done years ago. But at the same time, this is an opportunity for us to do some of these things. And then back to something that I never thought I would have learned this lesson as a young man. But sometimes it takes money to get money. And sometimes when you bring businesses in, like the parks, for instance, or you bring economics in, it opens up a door for employment. It also opens the door for finances, back to the hotels, the restaurants, and these type of things. And then too, we're enjoying a lot of things in Jonesboro that, from where I'm from, the city I'm from, it's kind of like.
Dr. Coleman, we're gonna have to leave it there. We're getting ready to go into a break. Jesse Cox, we will ask you a question on the other side of the break, so don't go anywhere. And for everyone else that's watching and tuning in, don't you go anywhere. We'll be back with more with Team Jonesboro. This is KLEK,
like
102.5 FM.
We don't pay for garbage here. We don't get for garbage pickup. Can you imagine that?
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Our Think Wealthy quote of the week comes from author, speaker, and financial educator Ryan C. Mack, Mid-Atlantic Market President for Operation Hope.
What we have to start doing is making sure we're starting early, learning about the different types of vehicles and ways in which we can learn how to invest, start asking for additional help and support at an earlier age, and making sure that we're very aggressive and diligent and making sure we're really working on our retirement planning.
Take steps now to save and invest today to create the financial resources you'll need in the future.
The 401k, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best ways in which we can start putting money. If you have a company and have a company retirement plan, I mean, I've never heard someone say, I've put too much money in my 401k plan strategy. Sometimes it might help to talk to a good financial advisor to get your appropriate asset allocation and making sure you're putting a budget together to make sure you're putting much money into your 401k on a regular basis.
I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization focused on joy in our sisterhood, power in our voice, and service in our hearts. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Money Matters is brought to you by the Gears Foundation, a nonprofit organization providing students with assistance in their academic and career pursuits. Gears Foundation on Facebook, Gears_Inc. on Instagram, and the Gears Foundation at gmail.com.
Help keep KLEK on the air. We are seeking 100 donors to give at least $20 per month, but we are happy with any gift, large or small. Come by our studio at 1411 Franklin Street in Jonesboro. Call us at 870-277-1080 or visit our website, klekfm.org, or you can use Cash App, $KLEKFM, or text KLEK1. Send it to 44321.
KLEK thanks CJ Pepper and the staff of Life Strategies Counseling Incorporated for helping people through hard times in life such as depression, family issues, stress, abuse, and more. They offer counseling and therapy for all ages, individuals, families, and groups. They are located at 1217 Stone Street. Phone number 1-866-972-1268 or online at lscihelp.com.
The McDaniel Law Firm, 400 South Main Street in Jonesboro, is a firm believer in justice and equality for the minority community. The McDaniel Law Firm has fought for our rights for over 44 years. The McDaniel Law Firm offers legal help for wrongful death as well as trucking and automobile accidents. Bobby and Brett McDaniel are available for a free consultation at 870-336-4747 or at www.mcdaniellawyers.com.
KLEK 102.5 FM is giving you more praise. That's right, KLEK brings to you All Gospel Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, enjoy all of your favorite gospel hits and get your praise on all day long. Plus, the return of the KLEK Praise Break. Lift up your hands, rejoice, and praise Him all day. All Wednesday, every Wednesday, on KLEK 102.5 FM.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
KLEK 102.5 FM salutes small businesses. Small businesses promote local character and success, keeping money in the local economy, local jobs, entrepreneurship, community well-being, and so much more. Contact us today to learn more on how your small business could be featured on KLEK for as little as $25 per month.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with our guest members of Team Jonesboro. If you have a question or a comment, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080 or leave your questions or your comments on our live feed. And our feed is jumping, so we're going to get right into it. Jesse Cox says, how about the people who live on disability making less than $15,000 a year? This Team Jonesboro sounds like a scam to take from the poor. Tommy Baker says, right, Jonesboro needs to be unified. Dr. Sharice Jones-Brent says, thank you for this information. Jonesboro needs to grow. Donna Matt Puryear says more activities need to be available for all children and teens that are affordable to all. Jesse Cox says Jonesboro doesn't need any more taxes. So what about his question? What about people who are on disability?
Well, I would say that in his exact question, one, I think that anytime you call a scam investing in children and in the community and police and fire, I would strongly disagree with that term. Let's just take his exact example of somebody making $15,000 a year. If they did not qualify for any government subsidies whatsoever, and they brought in $15,000 in income, and let's say that they spend the national average of about 25%, 30% of that on taxable items, you're talking $30 to $40 a year for that maximum impact. And I believe that there's not too many people in the entire city that wouldn't gladly pay that for a little bit safer neighborhood to live in and a little bit better place for children to enjoy, because ultimately what they're going to get back in return is a more vibrant community, a community that has more options available to people with disabilities, and a community that keeps us safe. And I think that people in Jonesboro have a chance to agree with that statement on September 10th, that by improving our community, we can absolutely make this a better place to live, work, and raise a family.
Well, I just want to reference to one thing about disability. The ADA Act, I don't know the total act, has said that there are certain things that we need to do in the community. And right now, believe it or not, we don't have the funds to do it. I've noticed that even when I ride down certain streets, that way certain sidewalks should curve, the bottom plate that normally leads at the end, that intersection, there are places that don't have those things, and they don't have them because we don't have the money to put those things in line. And I'm definitely for dealing with people with disabilities, having them in an area, having them items that they need. But one of the things that I found out from that standpoint, because I've dealt with that a little bit more personal, so I don't want to go into my private life, but I've dealt with it a little more personal with people in my family. A lot of times people, and I want to be careful how I say this because this is not putting anybody down, a lot of times the educational part on what you do in that area depletes what you want to do for you spending your money in that type of thing. But I think me as a council, I will continue to fight for whether it passes or not, to help those people in that category, because there's a need, not a want, there is a need to help whatever we can do for the handicapped people in this community.
All right, I want to ask this question. Let's talk about the future of Team Jonesboro, whether this passes or not passes. Will this movement continue? And if so, what do you see Team Jonesboro doing in the future?
Yes, we will absolutely continue for two reasons. One, because we think it's healthy to continue this dialogue and to grow the community. But two, we want to make sure that once this initiative is passed, that it does what we think it should do for the community. And that being said, I would say that if you want to learn more about the Team Jonesboro initiative, visit our website and also, read on there about how you can get involved and what you can do to have input in how these decisions are made after the tax passes as well.
I think Kubila had a last question.
No, I was just watching the time.
Okay.
But you had a question for me.
No, I want to let them.
All right, well, we got 2 minutes. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Well, I've said it many, many times on this radio. We are much better as a community when we talk to each other instead of at each other. And that's what this dialogue is about today. Let's talk to each other. Let's bring our communities together. It's not North Jonesboro, South Jonesboro. We are one Jonesboro. And unity is what it's all about. Let's make our city a better place. And by doing so, let's start out by working together.
All right, Brian?
Well, just one final request. And this, I won't give their name. Can you On your page, can you put statistics, the things that we talked about today, can you put statistics?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
I would say that on September 10th, we have a major decision to make. If you feel like that it is worth an additional 1% to invest in our children, invest in fire and police, and invest in the type of community that we all want to call home, that's a more vibrant community, then it's vote yes, vote for. If you feel like that citizens should have more input in government and that we should tell local government what we want, then vote for. If you feel like some of these problems can't wait another 18 months or 2 years to be addressed, vote for. If you think that we as citizens should absolutely unite, vote for.
All right, Brian, I'm about to cut you off right there because I got to end with the disclaimer. And of course, we want everybody to know early voting starts September 3rd at the Craighead County Election Annex. Election Day is September 10th, and you can vote at any polling place. We want to thank you all for coming by the studio. Remember, KLK, we do not endorse, nor support, nor oppose this issue. This is for informational purposes only. No compensation was provided. However, we do encourage you to educate yourselves and get out to vote. This is All Gospel Wednesday, so stay tuned for more. This is KLK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. A program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.